Join me as I dive deep into the question, can faith really help us overcome life's toughest challenges? Let's find out together. Faith is often seen as a beacon of hope in our darkest moments, a vital tool that helps us navigate through life's turbulent waters. It's about trusting in something greater than ourselves, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. This unwavering trust can be a powerful ally in overcoming obstacles that seem insurmountable. Life is full of challenges that can leave us feeling overwhelmed and lost. Anxiety about the future, fear of failure, or dealing with adversity can be incredibly daunting. These challenges can sometimes feel like giant roadblocks, making it hard to see a way forward. Many of us face moments where we doubt our ability to cope, feeling like we're walking through a storm with no clear end in sight. The weight of these struggles can be crushing, making everyday tasks feel like climbing a mountain. In such moments, it's easy to lose sight of what's possible, and the future can seem bleak. Faith, however, is not just about religious beliefs. It's a deeper sense of trust and confidence. It's about believing in ourselves when no one else does. Take the story of a young student who was relentlessly bullied at school. He felt isolated and his self-worth was shattered. Instead of letting despair take over, he turned to his faith. He found strength in the belief that he was valued and loved, regardless of what others said. This newfound confidence inspired him to start a kindness club at his school, creating a safe space for others who felt like outsiders. His initiative not only helped him build new, supportive friendships, but also began to change the school's culture, proving that faith can turn personal pain into a powerful force for good. Or consider a young artist, paralyzed by the fear of not being good enough. Her canvases sat empty, and her passion faded into self-doubt. Turning to her faith, she found the courage to see her own unique value, separate from outside approval. She started creating art just for herself, finding joy in the process, not the outcome. This renewed her spirit, and soon her work, now authentic and full of life, began to inspire others. In facing life's challenges, faith can be a powerful tool. It's about trusting that we have the strength to overcome, that better days are ahead, and that we're not alone. Faith can give us the courage to take the first step, even when the path ahead is unclear. If you've ever found faith to be a source of strength in your life, I'd love to hear about it. Share your stories in the comments below. And if you're looking for more inspiring content, be sure to check out our next video.
Promises are like a blueprint for our lives, a roadmap that guides us through life's ups and downs. They're not just words on a page. They're a powerful force that can transform our daily lives. When we understand and apply God's promises, we can experience a life of purpose, peace, and joy. We've all been there, feeling lost, anxious, or uncertain about our future. Doubt creeps in, and we start to wonder if God's promises are really true. We might feel like we're stuck in a rut, unable to move forward. But here's the thing, we're not alone. Many people struggle with these same feelings, and it's exactly in those moments that we need to remind ourselves of God's promises. These struggles can be overwhelming, making it hard to trust in God's goodness. We might feel like we're praying, but our prayers are going unanswered. It's in these moments that we need to hold on to faith, even when it's hard. We need to remember that God's promises are not based on our feelings or circumstances. They're based on His character. It's easy to get caught up in negative thoughts and feelings, but we have the power to choose how we respond. We can choose to focus on God's promises, to meditate on His word, and to seek His guidance. When we do, we begin to see things from a different perspective. By holding on to God's promises, we can find peace in the midst of chaos. We can experience joy even in the face of adversity, and we can trust that God is working everything out for our good. The Bible is full of examples of God's promises in action. In Jeremiah 29:11, God says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." In Philippians 4:19, Paul writes, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." These promises are not just for biblical heroes, they're for us too. I've seen God's promises change lives in amazing ways. I've heard stories of people who were struggling with addiction, but found freedom through God's promises. I've seen marriages restored, relationships healed, and lives transformed. One story that stands out to me is that of a woman who was struggling with cancer. She was scared, alone, and unsure of what the future held. But as she began to focus on God's promises, she found peace and comfort. She started to declare God's promises over her life, speaking them out loud every day. And you know what? She began to experience healing, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually as well. As she looked to God's promises, she found strength and courage to face each day. She realized that God's promises weren't just for others, they were for her too. And as she applied them to her life, she saw transformation take place. So what does it mean to live out God's promises? It means trusting in His goodness, even when we don't understand. It means holding on to faith, even when it's hard. And it means applying His promises to our lives every day. In conclusion, God's promises have the power to change our lives forever. When we trust in them, we can experience a life of purpose, peace, and joy. We can overcome struggles and find freedom in Christ. If you've been encouraged by this message, I want to hear from you. Share your personal experiences with God's promises in the comments below. And if you're looking for more inspiration, be sure to check out my other videos.
I've always been someone who likes to have control over my life, to know what's coming next, and to be able to plan every step of the way. But as I journey through life, I've come to realize that maybe that's not always the best approach. The concept of letting go and trusting in a higher power is something that I've heard about before, but it's not always easy to put into practice. One of the biggest struggles I think people face when trying to let go of control is fear of the unknown. What if things don't work out the way they're supposed to? What if I make a mistake and end up in a place I don't want to be? These are questions that I've asked myself before, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Another struggle is the feeling of vulnerability that comes with letting go. When we're used to being in control, it can be hard to feel safe and secure when we're not calling the shots. For me, personally, I've struggled with trusting in a higher power because I've always felt like I need to be able to see the plan and understand how everything is going to work out. But the truth is, sometimes we just have to trust that everything is going to be okay, even when we can't see the way ahead. I've also struggled with feeling like I'm not good enough or capable enough to handle certain situations, and that's where my faith comes in. I've learned that it's okay to not have all the answers, and that sometimes the best thing to do is to just trust and take a step of faith. It's not always easy, but it's something that I'm working on every day. When we try to control every aspect of our lives, it can be exhausting and stressful. Letting go and trusting in a higher power can be incredibly freeing. As I look back on my journey of learning to let go, I remember times when I felt like I was losing my grip on things. I recall a particularly tough period when I was trying to control every aspect of my life, and it was taking a toll on my mental and emotional health. I was stressed, anxious, and felt like I was at my breaking point. But in that moment, I realized that I had a choice to make. I could keep trying to control everything, or I could let go and trust that everything was going to be okay. That was a pivotal moment for me, and it marked the beginning of my journey of learning to trust in a higher power. I've had my ups and downs, of course, but I've learned that even in the tough times, there is always something to be grateful for. I've learned to look for the lessons in difficult situations and to trust that everything is working together for my good. One of the most significant insights I've gained on this journey is that letting go doesn't mean being passive or giving up. It means being active and engaged, but also being willing to listen and follow guidance. It's a subtle but important distinction. When we let go of control, we're not giving up. We're actually gaining a new perspective and a new way of being. As I reflect on my journey, I'm reminded of a time when I was facing a difficult decision. I was trying to control the outcome, but it wasn't working. I was stressed and anxious, and I didn't know what to do. But then I took a step back, prayed, and trusted that everything was going to be okay. And you know what? The outcome wasn't what I had expected, but it was better than I could have ever imagined. The pivotal moment for me came when I realized that I wasn't alone in this journey. I realized that there is a power greater than me that is working in my life, and that I can trust in that power to guide me. When I finally let go and surrendered to that power, I felt a sense of peace and freedom that I had never experienced before. In that moment, everything became clear. I realized that I had been trying to do things my way for so long and it wasn't working. But when I let go and trusted in God's plan, everything started to fall into place. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders and I could finally breathe again. Recap. The key points are that letting go of control and trusting in a higher power is a journey, not a destination. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. When we let go, we open ourselves up to a new way of being and a new perspective on life. If you've had any experiences with letting go and trusting in a higher power, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about this topic, be sure to check out another video on my channel called How to Trust God's Plan for Your Life. Have you ever stopped to think about God's plan for your life? It's one of those questions that can feel both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. On one hand, the idea that there's a divine path laid out just for you can be incredibly comforting. On the other hand, it can also feel like a lot of pressure to live up to. For many of us, understanding our purpose and following a divine path can be a real struggle. We might feel lost or uncertain about which direction to take in life. Sometimes it can seem like everyone else has their life figured out except us. We might look at our friends or family members and think, wow, they seem to know exactly what they're doing. But when it comes to our own lives, we might feel like we're just wandering aimlessly. One of the biggest challenges we face is trying to figure out what God's plan is in the first place. We might pray for guidance, read scripture, or seek advice from others, but still feel unclear about what's next. It's like trying to read a map in the dark. We can't quite see the path ahead. It's easy to get discouraged when we feel like we're not living up to our potential or fulfilling our purpose. We might start to wonder if we're doing something wrong or if we've missed our chance. But I want to encourage you today that God's plan is not something that we have to figure out on our own. The Bible tells us that God has a plan to prosper us, not to harm us. He wants us to live a life that's full of purpose and meaning. But what does that look like in practical terms? For some people, it might mean pursuing a certain career or ministry. For others, it might mean being a supportive partner or parent. One thing that's helped me is to realize that God's plan is not just about achieving some grand monumental goal. It's about living a life that's surrendered to Him day by day. It's about seeking His guidance and wisdom in every area of our lives. So what's the key to understanding God's plan? I believe it's about learning to trust Him and His timing. It's about being still and listening for His voice. And it's about being open to wherever He might lead us, even if it's not where we expected to go. In the end, I believe that God's plan is not just about us. It's about using us to make a difference in the world. He wants to work through us to bring hope and light to those around us. To sum it up, we've explored the idea that God has an amazing plan for each of our lives. It's a plan that's full of purpose and meaning, and it's not something that we have to figure out on our own. If you've been encouraged or challenged by this message, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you're looking for more content on finding purpose, be sure to check out my next video where we dive deeper into this topic. Faced a situation where it seemed like all hope was lost? Maybe you're going through something right now that feels overwhelming, and you're not sure how to keep going. I want you to know that you're not alone. Many of us have been there, and it's in those moments that our faith is truly tested. Personal crises, loss, and global events can shake our confidence in God. We might wonder if He's still in control, if He still cares, or if He's even there at all. It's natural to feel that way, but I want to encourage you that there is hope. Even in the midst of uncertainty, we can find strength in our faith. The Bible is full of stories about people who faced impossible situations. Think of David and Goliath or the Israelites escaping from Egypt. These stories show us that God is always working, even when we can't see it. He's always moving, always orchestrating events to bring about His good purposes. We can also find inspiration in the lives of people who have faced incredible challenges and come out stronger on the other side. Their stories remind us that faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting in a God who does. One of the most powerful examples of trusting God in the face of impossibility is found in the story of Abraham and Sarah. They were promised a child, but it seemed impossible given their age and circumstances. Yet they chose to trust God, and He came through in a miraculous way. In my own life, I've experienced times when trusting God seemed like the only option. There was a season when I felt like I was facing an impossible situation, and I didn't know how to move forward. But as I sought God, He gave me a sense of peace and direction that I couldn't understand. That experience taught me that trusting God isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to surrender to His plan, even when it doesn't make sense. It's about recognizing that He's bigger than our problems and that He can bring about solutions that we can't imagine. As I look back on that season, I realized that it was a turning point in my faith. It taught me that I can trust God even when things seem impossible. It showed me that He's not just a God of the possible, but a God of the impossible. So, I want to encourage you to hold on to your faith, even when things seem impossible. Remember that God is always working, always moving, and always orchestrating events to bring about His good purposes. Thanks for watching. If you've been through a tough season and you've learned to trust God in a new way, I want to hear about it. Share your story in the comments below. And if you're looking for more content on faith, be sure to check out our next video, where we explore what it means to live out your faith in everyday life. I've been thinking a lot about my life, and I'm sure many of you have too. What are we really doing every day? Is it just going through the motions, or is there something more? Finding our purpose in everyday life is crucial for our overall well-being. It gives us direction, motivation, and a sense of fulfillment. Many of us feel like we're just drifting through life without a clear direction. We go to work, come home, watch TV, and sleep. But deep down, we know there's more to life than just existing. This feeling of aimlessness can be really frustrating and affect our motivation and happiness. We might feel like we're just pretending to be someone we're not, and that can be really draining. It's like we're living someone else's life, not our own. I think that's why so many people feel stuck and unsure of what to do next. So how do we identify our personal values and passions? How do we figure out what really matters to us and what we're truly passionate about? For me, it's about taking time to reflect on what I value most in life. Is it creativity, freedom, or helping others? Once I know what my values are, I can start to explore activities that align with them. Maybe it's trying a new hobby, volunteering, or taking a class. By exploring our values and passions, we can start to guide our daily activities towards a more fulfilling life. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. I want to share a story with you that really inspired me. It's about a woman who was feeling lost and unfulfilled in her corporate job. She decided to take a leap of faith and start her own business, doing something she was truly passionate about. It wasn't easy, but she was determined to make it work. And you know what? Her story shows that aligning our daily actions with our true purpose can have a profound impact on our lives. We can apply this to our own lives by making small changes every day. Let's recap. Finding our purpose in daily life is crucial for our overall well-being. We need to identify our values and passions and align our daily actions with them. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. I hope this video has inspired you to reflect on your own purpose and make some positive changes in your life. If you've had a similar experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you're looking for more inspiration, be sure to check out my video on how to find your passion and purpose in life for more practical tips and advice. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle and forget what truly matters. Inner peace is a state of being that allows us to feel calm, centered, and connected to ourselves and the world around us. It's a sense of serenity that can help us navigate life's challenges with greater ease and resilience. I think we all need a little more of that in our lives. One of the biggest obstacles to achieving inner peace is stress. We're constantly bombarded with stressors, from work and relationships to social media and news. It's no wonder that so many of us feel overwhelmed and anxious. Distractions are another major challenge. Think about how often you find yourself mindlessly scrolling through your phone or getting caught up in drama. And then there are societal pressures, like the expectation to constantly perform and produce. It can feel like we're never good enough. These pressures can lead to feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. When we're constantly comparing ourselves to others and trying to meet unrealistic standards, it's hard to feel at peace. We need to recognize that it's okay to not have it all together, and that it's normal to have imperfections. By letting go of these pressures, we can start to cultivate a sense of inner peace. Another challenge is that we're often encouraged to prioritize productivity over self-care. We might feel guilty for taking time for ourselves or pursuing activities that bring us joy. But the truth is, taking care of ourselves is essential to living a happy and fulfilling life. When we neglect our own needs, we can become burnt out and disconnected from our inner selves. So how do we cultivate inner peace in the midst of all this chaos? One approach is mindfulness. being present in the moment and letting go of worries about the past or future. Meditation is another powerful tool, as it allows us to quiet the mind and tune into our inner wisdom. Nature immersion can also be incredibly grounding, whether that means taking a walk in the woods or simply spending time in a park. Getting back to basics and reconnecting with our natural surroundings can have a profound impact on our well-being. When we're in nature, we're reminded of the beauty and simplicity of life. We can also try journaling or creative expression as a way to process our emotions and tap into our inner selves. The key insight I want to share with you today is that inner peace is not something that we need to achieve. It's something that we already have within us. It's a birthright, a natural state of being that we can access at any moment. The problem is that we've often forgotten how to tap into it. By letting go of our need to control and achieve, we can simply be. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating. When we stop trying to create inner peace and instead allow it to arise naturally, we can experience a sense of freedom and joy that we never thought possible. It's a subtle but profound distinction. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? Inner peace is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's essential to making inner peace a priority in our daily lives. If you're struggling to find inner peace, know that you're not alone. I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments. What works for you and what doesn't? And if you're interested in exploring more topics like this, be sure to check out my video on mindfulness and meditation. Today, I'm diving into the brand new Chose You Life method to see if it really can change my life. Let's find out if I can stick to it for a whole week. I've been hearing a lot about the Chose You Life method and how it's supposed to help people take control of their lives and make meaningful changes. The idea behind it is to provide a structured approach to achieving your goals and improving your overall well-being. I decided to give it a try because I've been feeling a bit stuck lately and thought it could be just what I need to shake things up. One of the biggest struggles people face in their lives is feeling overwhelmed and unsure of where to start when it comes to making changes. We're often bombarded with information and advice, but it's hard to know what's real and what's just noise. I've definitely been there, feeling like I'm trying to do everything at once but not really making progress on anything. Another struggle is staying motivated and focused on our goals, especially when things get tough. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of setting new goals, but it's much harder to keep going when the initial enthusiasm wears off. And then there's the issue of self-doubt and fear of failure, which can hold us back from even trying to make changes in the first place. I've had my fair share of moments where I felt like giving up because I was scared of not being good enough. I started by setting some goals for myself and breaking them down into smaller, manageable steps. The method provides a framework for doing this, which I found really helpful. I also had to identify some negative thought patterns and habits that were holding me back, which was a tough but eye-opening experience. As I began to work through the method, I encountered some challenges, like feeling resistant to making changes and struggling to stay consistent. There were times when I felt like I was getting nowhere, but I kept pushing forward because I was determined to see this through. One of the most impactful moments for me was when I realized that I've been holding myself back with negative self-talk. I had to confront the fact that I've been using self-doubt as an excuse not to take risks and try new things. This realization was huge for me, and it's something that I'm still working on, but it's been a game changer. Another significant moment was when I started to see progress, no matter how small. It was a great feeling to know that I was moving forward, even if it didn't feel like it all the time. I also had a moment of clarity about what's truly important to me, which has helped me stay focused on my goals. And I learned to be kinder to myself, which has made a big difference in my overall mindset. In reflecting on my experience with the Chose You Life method, I'd say that it's been a valuable journey. I've learned some important lessons about perseverance, self-compassion, and the importance of taking small steps towards my goals. While it's not a magic bullet, I do think it's a useful tool for anyone looking to make positive changes in their life. I'm excited to continue applying the principles I've learned and see where it takes me. If you've had any experience with the Chose You Life method or any other personal development approaches, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Also, if you're interested in learning more about how to make changes in your life, be sure to check out my other video on goal-setting strategies. Setting goals is one of the most powerful tools we have for achieving success in our personal and professional lives. It's what helps us stay focused, motivated, and driven to make progress towards our dreams. Without clear goals, it's easy to get stuck in a rut and feel like we're not making any progress. Setting goals can be tough, and achieving them can be even tougher. One of the biggest challenges people face is a lack of clarity around what they want to achieve. Without a clear vision of what success looks like, it's hard to stay motivated and focused. Another challenge is a lack of motivation. It's easy to get excited about a goal at first, but as time goes on, that excitement can wear off. Procrastination is another major obstacle that can hold us back from achieving our goals. We often put off taking action until we feel ready or until the perfect moment arrives. But the truth is, there's no perfect moment. Some people struggle with perfectionism, which can be a major goal killer. When we feel like our goal isn't perfect or that we're not good enough to achieve it, we can get discouraged and give up. Others may face external obstacles, like a lack of resources or support from others. And then there are those who simply struggle with follow-through. They may start strong, but as time goes on, they lose steam and fail to make progress. Many of us also face the challenge of balancing multiple goals at once. When we're trying to achieve too many things at the same time, it can be hard to make progress on any one goal. This can lead to feelings of overwhelm and burnout, which can make it even harder to stay motivated and focused. To overcome these challenges, we need effective goal-setting strategies that help us stay on track. There are several effective goal-setting strategies that can help us overcome these challenges and achieve success. One popular approach is to set SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals that help us stay focused and motivated. Another strategy is visualization, taking the time to imagine ourselves achieving our goal and what that will feel like. This can help us stay motivated and inspired to take action. Having an accountability partner or joining a community of like-minded individuals can also be a powerful way to stay on track. Using a journal or planner to track our progress can also be helpful. By writing down our goals and tracking our progress, we can see how far we've come and stay motivated to keep going. Breaking down big goals into smaller, manageable steps can also make them feel less overwhelming and more achievable. Celebrating our successes along the way can also help us stay motivated and encouraged to keep going. The most impactful strategy that can transform goal setting and achievement is implementation intention. This involves specifying when and where we will take action towards our goal. By creating an if-then plan, we can eliminate the need for decision-making and ensure that we take action towards our goal. For example, if our goal is to start a new exercise routine, our implementation intention might be, if it's Monday, then I will go for a 30-minute run at 7 a.m. By using implementation intention, we can overcome procrastination and stay on track with our goals. This strategy is effective because it helps us create a clear plan of action and eliminates the need for motivation. When we have a clear plan in place, we don't need to feel motivated to take action. We simply take action because it's what we've planned to do. In conclusion, setting effective goals requires more than just a wish or a dream. It requires a clear plan and a strategy for achieving success. By using SMART goals, visualization techniques, accountability partners, and implementation intention, we can overcome common challenges and achieve our goals. Thanks for watching! If you have a favorite goal-setting strategy, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. If you're looking for more self-improvement tips, be sure to check out my video on productivity hacks to help you get more done in less time. Improving productivity is one of those game-changing moves that can seriously upgrade both your personal and professional life. Think about it. When you're productive, you get more done in less time, which means you can chill out more, pursue your passions, and just enjoy life without feeling swamped. It's all about working smarter, not harder. We've all been there, stuck in a rut, trying to get stuff done but ending up scrolling through our phones for hours. Distractions are everywhere, and it's easy to get sidetracked. Some days, motivation just doesn't show up, and before you know it, the day is over and you've accomplished nothing. And then there's the whole time management thing. Juggling tasks, meetings, and deadlines can be overwhelming. It's like, how do you even keep track of everything? So, what if I told you there are some super simple yet effective hacks to get your productivity back on track? One of my favorites is the Pomodoro technique. It's crazy straightforward. You work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, you take a longer break of 15-30 minutes. This technique helps you stay focused and avoid burnout. Another hack is prioritizing your tasks. Start with the most important ones first, and then move on to the less urgent ones. And let's not forget about digital tools. There are so many apps and extensions out there that can help you stay organized and on track. The Pomodoro technique is a real game changer. I mean, think about it. We all have that one task that we're just putting off, and it's usually because it seems too overwhelming. But with this technique, you can break it down into manageable chunks, and before you know it, you're making progress and feeling accomplished. It's all about making that first step and getting into a flow. To recap, we've covered some awesome productivity hacks that can seriously boost your day. We've got the Pomodoro technique, prioritizing tasks, and using digital tools to stay organized. These hacks are all about working smarter, not harder, and making the most of your time. If you've got a favorite productivity tip, I'd love to hear it. Drop it in the comments below. And if you're looking for more tips and tricks to upgrade your productivity in life, be sure to check out my other videos. Parables have been a cornerstone of storytelling across cultures and time, used to convey moral lessons in a way that's both engaging and memorable. From ancient fables to modern-day anecdotes, these short stories have been passed down through generations, offering insights into human nature and the complexities of life. Deciphering the core lessons behind various parables can be a challenge. With so many interpretations floating around, it's easy to get lost in the noise and miss the point entirely. We often find ourselves wondering what the story is really trying to tell us. Is it a lesson about morality, a warning about consequences, or simply a reflection of human experience? The more we dig into these stories, the more we realize that their meanings can be subjective and open to interpretation. The story of the blind man and the elephant is a great example. Each man experiences a different part of the elephant and comes up with a unique description of what it is. This parable teaches us about the limitations of perception and the importance of considering multiple perspectives. Another parable, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, warns us about the dangers of dishonesty and the importance of trustworthiness. The prodigal son, on the other hand, teaches us about the value of forgiveness and redemption. There's a common thread that ties all these parables together, a universal lesson that transcends time and culture. It's the idea that our choices have consequences, and that self-awareness is key to personal growth. Whether it's the story of the tortoise and the hare, or the rich man and Lazarus, the underlying message is the same. Our actions matter, and it's up to us to make conscious decisions that align with our values. In exploring these parables, we find that their lessons are just as relevant today as they were when they were first told. They offer practical wisdom on how to navigate life's challenges, from relationships and career to personal growth and spiritual development. By applying these lessons, we can cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. To wrap it up, the key lessons from these parables can be applied in everyday life to foster personal growth. By embracing self-awareness, taking responsibility for our actions, and considering multiple perspectives, we can become wiser, more compassionate, and more resilient. If you've got a favorite parable that you'd like to share, please drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. More insights into the power of storytelling. Stress is a universal human experience, isn't it? We all face it. And it's not just a mental challenge, but a physical one too. The Bible has a lot to say about managing stress and anxiety, and I believe its insights are just as relevant today as they were when they were first written. One of the main reasons we feel stressed is our fast-paced, ever-connected lives. We're constantly bombarded with notifications, deadlines, and demands on our time and energy. Social media makes it easy to compare our lives to others, often feeling like we don't measure up. And let's not forget the state of the world. Politics, the environment, and global conflicts can weigh heavily on our minds. All these factors contribute to a sense of overwhelm and anxiety. Our bodies weren't designed to handle this level of constant stress. It's like revving a car engine nonstop without giving it a break. Eventually, something's going to give. Mental health issues like depression and anxiety are on the rise, and it's clear that we need some new strategies for dealing with stress. The Bible teaches us that worry and anxiety are common experiences, even for people of faith. In Matthew 6:25-34, Jesus teaches us not to worry about tomorrow, focusing instead on the present moment and trusting that God will provide for our needs. This teaching encourages us to live in the here and now, rather than getting caught up in worries about the future. So what does the Bible suggest we do instead of worrying? It encourages us to pray. In Philippians 4-6-7, we're told to bring our concerns to God in prayer with thanksgiving, and that His peace will guard our hearts and minds. Prayer isn't just about asking for solutions. It's about shifting our focus from our problems to God's presence. Another key teaching is the importance of community. In Galatians 6:2, we're encouraged to carry each other's burdens. This means we don't have to face stress alone. By sharing our struggles with trusted friends or family, we can find support and relief. I've seen this play out in my own life. A few years ago, I was going through an incredibly stressful period, juggling work, family responsibilities, and personal challenges. I felt like I was drowning. A friend encouraged me to start a prayer journal, writing down my worries and then turning them over to God. I also made a point to connect with friends more regularly, even when it felt like I had nothing left to give. The peace and strength I found through those practices were incredible. It wasn't that my circumstances changed overnight, but my perspective did. I felt less alone and more equipped to handle the challenges that came my way. To sum it up, the biblical secret to handling stress isn't a magic formula or a one-size-fits-all solution. It's about cultivating a relationship with God, bringing our worries to Him in prayer, and supporting one another in community. If you found some biblical strategies helpful in managing stress, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. And if you're looking for more insights on well-being from a biblical perspective, check out our video on Finding Peace in Chaos: How Faith Can Transform Your Mental Health. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Join me as I take on the challenge of letting faith guide my decisions and see if it really helps me win big time. I've been thinking a lot about success and how some people seem to achieve their goals with ease, while others struggle to make progress. For me, I've come to realize that having a strong faith and believing that God is guiding me has made all the difference. It's like having a partner who's always working with me to help me achieve my dreams. I used to struggle with feelings of uncertainty and self-doubt. I felt like I was stuck in a rut and couldn't seem to get out of it. There were times when I felt like giving up on my goals and just accepting that maybe I wasn't meant to succeed. I remember feeling overwhelmed by the challenges I faced and wondering if I was strong enough to overcome them. It was a tough time, but I knew I had to keep pushing forward. As I looked for a way out, I started to explore my faith more deeply. I began to pray more regularly and meditate on Scripture. I also made a conscious effort to shift my mindset and focus on the positive aspects of my life. I started to see that I wasn't alone and that God was with me every step of the way. I realized that I had to trust in His plan and have faith that He would guide me through difficult times. One of the biggest steps I took was to start journaling and reflecting on my experiences. I wanted to see if I could identify any patterns or habits that were holding me back. I also started to surround myself with positive influences and people who encouraged me to keep going. I began to see that I had the power to choose my thoughts and attitudes, and that made all the difference. I started to feel more confident and hopeful about my future. The more I focused on my faith and trust in God, the more I started to see His hand at work in my life. I started to notice little miracles and coincidences that helped me along the way. It was like He was guiding me towards my goals and helping me to overcome obstacles. I started to feel a sense of peace and confidence that I'd never felt before. Then, something amazing happened. I landed a major opportunity that I had been working towards for months. It was a huge win for me, and I knew that God had played a big role in helping me achieve it. I remember feeling an overwhelming sense of gratitude and praise, knowing that He had come through for me in a big way. It was a pivotal moment in my journey, and it reinforced my faith in His goodness and love. Recapping my journey, it's been an incredible ride. From feeling stuck and uncertain to experiencing a major breakthrough, I've learned that with faith and trust in God, anything is possible. I've learned to trust in His plan and to have faith that He will guide me through difficult times. If you've been inspired by my story, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What are some of the ways that you've experienced divine assistance in your life? Let's chat and encourage each other to keep going. And if you're looking for more inspiring content, be sure to check out my other videos. Thanks for watching. Heavenly Father, thank you for every person listening to this message. I pray that you fill their heart with peace, their mind with clarity, and their spirit with strength. For the ones who feel overwhelmed, give them rest. For the ones seeking purpose, give them direction. For the ones carrying burdens, teach them to release and trust you. Surround them with your presence, remind them of your promises, and guide their steps today and always. In Jesus' name, amen.